Hours of the morning, American time, bringing to an end 30 years of the shuttle program and, of course, 20 years of manned spaceflight before that. The shuttle program has cost the United States $200 billion, but they've certainly travelled a fair bit for that amount of money. The five space shuttles have travelled some 80 million kilometres and they've orbited the Earth 5,000 times.
Barely visible in the pre-dawn darkness.
A first view through infrared cameras at the Kennedy Space Center.
These are the last images we will ever see of a space shuttle in flight.
Landing here down the line.
The program has spanned 3 decades, 2 disasters, and many triumphs.
Having fired the imagination of a generation, a ship like no other, its place in history secured, the space shuttle pulls into port for the last time.
At Mission Control, the work is over. Bittersweet is the word everyone uses here.
I want that picture of a young 6-year-old boy looking up at a space shuttle in a museum and say, you know, Daddy, I want to do something like that when I grow up. Or I want our country to do fantastic things like this for the continued future.
But the heroes of America's early space flights, like John Glenn, see it as a sad end to a glorious era.
And we won't even have, for a number of years now, we will not have our own means of getting into space, which I think is too bad. I don't like this at all.
To say farewell, NASA has released this video tribute to the shuttle with unique images. The question, what on Earth, indeed what above Earth, can NASA do next? Perhaps a voyage to Mars or landing on an asteroid. There is plenty of science to be done by NASA and some space exploration as well. But what will capture the public imagination? More importantly, what will persuade Congress to increase the space budget? Robert Moore, 10 News.
Let's head back to Dan now. And of course, the shuttle program employed a lot of people. What's next for the many NASA staff, Dan?
Well, Tash, at the height of the space program in the 90s, there were some 32,000 contractors and civil employees who were looking after the shuttle program. That's now dropped to about 6,000 or 7,000. A lot of those people are now out of jobs. It's, Robert's story mentioned the word bittersweet, and that's so true. These are people who ensured that this final mission landed safely, everyone got home safely, and as of tomorrow, well, the redundancy checks, the slips, the letters, they all start arriving, and thousands of people will literally be out of a job, and they're going to be applying for jobs, the very small number of jobs, all against each other. So these are people who've worked together for some time, and they're now going to be up against each other in the job queue, Tash.
All right, thanks for the update. US correspondent Daniel Sutton joining us there. Meantime, the Chinese government has used the publicity of the shuttle retirement to announce it's ready to launch the first module of its own space station. The first module has arrived at the Gobi Desert launch site. Now, the module is scheduled to fly later this year and will be visited in space by Chinese astronauts next year. China has been trying to beef up its space presence in recent years. Police in England have widened their murder inquiry surrounding contaminated saline at a hospital near Manchester. The number of possible murder victims has risen to 5 as police continue to hold a nurse who works at the hospital on suspicion of 3 of those murders.
Derek Weaver loved cars and classical music, and he was loved by his family. He died at Stepping Hill Hospital this morning.
Everybody loved him, and I don't think there's anybody in this world who can say a word against him or criticise him. He was just wonderful.
His brother and sister know there's a possibility someone deliberately contaminated his medication.
I'm absolutely sick that anybody could do that. Such a wonderful person. Everybody in the hospital said he was a charming, lovely gentleman he is. He's never complained once, has he?
This police investigation